in the upper left, in the red, or in the red. He looks solid against Solar. Let's see if he can take down his teammate. It's ByuN.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom right. She needs your energy. It is the Shopify Rebellion, Scarlett. And we got something that needs a little bit of talking about. Because we didn't see it in this previous series, but if it's a Korean Terran, if it's a Terran in general, in a best of 5, best of 3, best of 7, you know that something like this is always a possibility. It's going to be a proxy 3 racks, and the difference between proxy 2 racks defense, proxy 3 racks defense is notable, but Scarlett is going to be able to see this very soon with this overload. That's actually huge that she will be able to get this advanced warning. Yeah, she'll see it.
Steadfast, she's going to see 2 barracks.
Yes.
She's going to read this as a 2 racks. And
potentially.
I mean,
it is quite common to hide that 3rd barracks.
Yeah, but like, what are you going to be able to tell? Like, you're going to see the 3rd SCV eventually coming in to make the bunker, but she's not actually. She might catch it on the edge of vision here, but there is not a lot here to tell Scarlett that this is actually a 3 racks. And Steadfast, the holds are so different.
They are drastically different, yes. But she is building a Roach Warren in the 2nd gas. That is a good way to play against a proxy 3 racks, more so than against a proxy 2 racks. So I think she does, in fact, have the read here. At the very least, she is making a choice that is going to be a good one. But ByuN recognizes, he sees the Roach Warren, sees the quick 2nd gas. He might just go straight up into the main base and try and get something done. Scarlett does start up 6 lings at the natural after she was scouted that she had built no lings. If ByuN had kind of gone straight for the gut right away, he's gonna go as the queen pops out. Scarlett, that was a nice timing though. Those lings, they were queued up to finish when the queen did, and she survives a scary little moment. She will lose this hatchery. There is no saving it at this point. She's already decided to give it up, but she is preparing for the retake, and ByuN doesn't manage to get some big pickoffs.
No, and I like this creep tumor as well. It's so important to be able to fight down the ramp. So you might say, yeah, okay, why in the world did she spend energy there? Transfuses are so important, but you gotta have creep. A, to transfuse it, and B, just so you can find position on it. But ByuN's not giving up, right? He's adding a tech lab on one of these barracks here. So he's gonna add marauders on top of this 2nd bunker going down. And by the way, Steadfast, yeah, there's a creep tumor there. It's great, it's really important. But the range of the creep is not nearly as much as that hatchery provided. So the bunkers can move a little bit further forward if that's what ByuN would like. And you add this concussive shell, you add these marauders in, well, they're pretty solid against a bunch of roaches.
They are quite good. Now, you do eventually hit a critical mass of Ravagers where you're able to kill bunkers. Technically, the number is 7, but if you go with 6 and a volley of the Ravager fire, you will kill that bunker. Now, Scarlett, I don't know about this. I don't know about this at all. She will kill the SCVs. And actually, no, she kills one of them. Oh, no, the Overlord. She cannot afford to lose those on the low ground, but it means she has to go to the low ground. Nice transfuse. But she will lose one of these Ravagers. Now, she really wants to break this bunker now, and she does, but it will come at the cost of a queen. Scarlett, though, if she can push ByuN off the low ground, maybe.
But
this is uncomfortable. Oh, no.
Yeah, this is losing. You cannot lose Ravagers in a game like this. Losing queens was already painful enough, and with concussive shells being done here, I mean, the Ravagers, they just continue to fall. Yes, ByuN is losing army, but he's going to have another bunker to retreat to very soon. He continues to get damaged on these Ravagers. And again, that's the problem. This army that ByuN has built for himself is something that is, or that Scarlett has built for herself, is something that is not supposed to die. These Ravagers, they're 100 minerals, 100 gas a pop. Their job is to trade well over time. And at some point, the scan was dropped here as well. So ByuN, he denies all the creep on the natural. The bunkers continue just to push.
Yeah, this is a funny side effect of how creep works right here. Scarlett needs to spread these bios out a little bit more. She needs to, it's good that she's keeping the pressure on, but she needs to spread them out a little bit. She's adding a Bailey nest. This is such a funny 1 base versus 1 base setup. ByuN knows that if he knows that he needs to keep Scarlett from spreading out at the bottom of the ramp, because that's when things get really tricky. We are going to see another scan coming on in. Will be able to find, does get the creep tumor. That's good. Scarlett, though, she can, she actually inject to stack another one instead of dropping a creep tumor. I mean, it's not too big of a deal, but these little mistakes are notable. But yeah, this is one base versus one base, and it's a big commitment on both players.
It is, and you know, knocking the creep spread on the one hand is nice, right? Because there's less vision on the low ground, there's less positioning. But ByuN does have to be careful. He can't push his bunkers too far forward because, well, there are biles and they can knock them down pretty much from the high ground. So really not a good use of resources. Even still, though, 6 banelings are on the way, and Steadfast Stim is on the way, but it's not done yet. Give it, I don't know, 20 seconds. So there will be a timing as these banelings flood down the ramp. Yeah, she's got to go right now, and here she goes. Okay, yeah. 2 bunkers here. Concave ready for ByuN. Stim done in 15 seconds, but he's not going to have it. And now the bunkers there are going to get absolutely busted. ByuN runs away, builds a wall with the Marauders. So the banelings, they bust the bunkers here, Steadfast, and importantly, these bunkers, they're not coming back. The creep is there. ByuN has to give the position up, and immediately, natural coming down from Scarlett here. Is she out of the waters, though? Is she out of the woods?
I mean, she's going to be able to expand, but ByuN's expansion is a little bit faster. No. This is a trap. This is bait. You cannot go down into this. She can drop biles the same way she has been before, but she's got to be careful. And the best she can hope to do is kind of maybe hope ByuN makes a mistake, but he should be very dancy with this army. He doesn't have a lot of macro to do at home. This is a bold scan. This is now the 3rd scan he's dropped this game. Oh, corrosive biles. Okay, nope. They're not going to force out a stim. Scarlett has to know that stim is done. I think ByuN's trying to draw her down the ramp and make her think that stim is not done, and then he takes a really good fight with a great spread. But Scarlett, she's got to know this at this point. This is such a funny game, but it is so nifty.
Okay, I was going to say, I love that we have ByuN here. Oh, he got a marine trapped. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, I love that ByuN is just still producing from the map. He has not sent his barracks back home. I mean, it makes sense. He's all in. But now Combat Shields is under heavy threat. So ByuN, he's got to hold on to this position, but he won't be able to. So you got Stim, you got Concussive Shells out of this position, but he seems like, maybe that barracks goes down if you got the good biles on it, but...
Yeah, it should, it should die.
He's not gonna...
You just don't want to let it get any scout right now.
Yeah.
I don't think Scarlett should counterattack. I think she should just chill.
No.
She could potentially try and go hunting for the other 2 barracks, but that would be a little bit bold and would leave her potentially out of position for a big run by. But now this is really funny. This is just a really funny game because it's going to settle into a macro game with ByuN definitely in an economic lead, but Scarlett has like a really big army that ByuN won't want to push into. And like you said, the combat shields went down. 4 bunkers. ByuN is terrified of a counterattack.
I mean, he has no production. By the way, look at the income graph. It's a beautiful little spike and it goes down immediately.
Yep.
But anyway, you're right. But ByuN has no production, right? He lost one barracks.
He needs to do something like this. He's terrified for good reason.
But, you know, Steadfast, the good news is that if you salvage all 4 bunkers, you effectively only had to buy 1 bunker, because that's how the math works. So,
yeah,
it's a heavy expenditure, and it does mean that ByuN can't build other things as much as he would like. But if he survives this and they don't go down, it's not that expensive.
Well, I mean, okay. I wouldn't say that. That's a 3rd command center.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is
it's big. It lets Scarlett back into this game in a huge way, despite the economic disadvantage.
Sorry, what I'm saying is, like, if he survives the total aggregate cost. But yes, from a timing perspective, absolutely, it does slow ByuN down. But now, I mean, Scarlett, she's doing exactly what you expect. There's no, she's not pushing. She's opening up paths. Certainly, all the rocks are down. So ByuN defending his 3rd is going to be hard. But she's got her lair. She's got 1-1 on the way. She's developing herself into this game in a way that ByuN, even as he does have that 3rd command center, even as he did get that command center faster, from a tech perspective, he's just not able to do the same. Yeah, okay, 1-1 on the way now, adding that combat shields, but the next fight that ByuN takes, Scarlett, her army is going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a strong army in general. She will have centrifugal hooks, that Bane speed upgrade. She's getting up to now the gases on her 4th base, or 3rd base, I should say. Doesn't have them at the natural because, I mean, she's been mining off 2 gas in the main base for such a long time that even with the double upgrade setup, she's still doing pretty well. This is just a funny game overall. I'm really curious to see where ByuN goes with this, and I'm very surprised to see Widow Mines when there are so many Ravagers on the field. Like, I guess tanks are going to be uncomfortable anyways, but I don't know. This is funny. Ooh, this is a nice little jump from ByuN. Grabs 2 Ravagers and a Queen and only loses a single Marine. That was brilliant from ByuN.
Oh, man. ByuN just, sometimes he looks a little bit awkward. This pressure was interesting, but sometimes he just looks absolutely superb. And you're like, okay, ByuN, like, that's just not even fair. It's not right what you're able to do. But again, we talk about ByuN here. The one thing we have to point out is by losing that first series, he's going to have to play a lot more. And the one thing we always talk about with ByuN is like, how is he going to be able to sustain his form over the course of a weekend tournament? And for now, hey, that timing, it did, honestly, it kind of equalized things more than anything else. But now we're going into the mid game, and he's already played a couple long games against Solar. But for now, again, he's looking like he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he's looking comfortable. He's looking comfortable. He's looking poised. He's not making any mistakes. Very patient, ByuN. And Scarlett's just going to lose this Queen. She's had a lot of creep cleared up. ByuN making really nice moves here in this mid game. Has been very patient with his stim as well. And he is setting up for a really strong push on this top side. I was just going to say one more scan, and he can clear out a lot of this creep that is guarding these bases. Scarlett really doesn't want to lose this last tumor. But it is important to note, Scarlett's 2-2 timing is so far ahead of ByuN's.
Yeah, but we're going to see ByuN. I mean, he's setting up for the push now, not in 30 seconds now, not for 45 seconds from now, when that timing will matter. He's pushing on his upgrade parity on 1-1 versus 1-1. Now, Scarlett, of course, may prevent that from happening. It seems like this drop on the left side doesn't get much done, but that's what ByuN is looking for. Now, again, he hasn't found it just yet, but now pretty much his entire army is together on this north side, and that's a lot of Marines. That's a lot of Marauders, and, well, Scarlett, she's kind of flowing in the wrong direction here. She's responding to 2 medevacs with her entire army, and ByuN, he doesn't know about this though. So Scarlett, she will find her way back in time, but it's scary F2 Steadfast. Yeah,
it's definitely an uncomfortable position, but for me, I'm more concerned about the lack of creep right here. The Marauders are going to do such a good job tanking Banelings. The Widowmines in behind this make this uncomfortable. +2 Carapace is going to complete. Scarlett going to try and get a little bit of a mind drag, but it won't happen too much. Oh, Banelings. Oh, that was funny. ByuN split into the Banelings, and then Scarlett didn't, like, detonate them. So it was a small little funky mini skirmish right there. Corrosive Biles will clear out one of these mines. This is what I was talking about a little bit, where the Ravagers are so good against those mines if you slow push with them. But I do like this one mine in the bushes. I think that's pretty nifty from ByuN. Does have another army moving up on the left side. Scarlett, though, finished up her hive. 3-3 Adrenal Glands and an Ultra Cavern are on the way.
And oh man, generally I really don't like. Oh, I love this fake, by the way, with the medevacs, just trying to really distract ByuN as just distract Scarlett as ByuN tries to find his way on this base. But the mind drag is actually going to be really nice. So ByuN doesn't find anything there, and on the north side, well, the army of Scarlett, even if there's no creep, and there's no creep connecting the bases, that's how much of a problem this is. She is going to be able to stay alive. And Steadfast, as I was trying to say before ByuN so rudely interrupted me, in a game like this, I love the Marauders. ByuN does not. He's only on 4 bases right now. Or excuse me, I love the Ultras. ByuN is just barely getting on his 4th base right now. He will not have Ghost Academy. He won't have anything like that really deals with these Ultras super well, and especially with the upgrade disadvantage. So that's gonna be really nice. Oh, nice Widowmine shot there, and ByuN gets a second one as well. Gets a third even, but by the third one, really no value. But ByuN, he has to figure out what's happening here, because this army that he has, as these Ultras start to hit the field, as Chitinous Plating starts to hit the field, it will be a problem. And it looks like his answer for now is, I'm just going to move in. His army, there's no creep there, and it's a nice position. But Scarlett, she looks for the surround here. Widowmines coming in from one angle, though. ByuN retreats, picks up, runs away. And he's going to be pretty happy with that trade, especially if he gets this base. But no, in fact, Scarlett the one. Banelings get really solid connections.
Yeah, that felt like I don't know if I like that movement from ByuN on the top side. It felt a little bit like he went kind of deep on creep and didn't anticipate Scarlett kind of swinging in from the back. We will see this army on the left side is getting dealt with, but Scarlett's slowly but surely losing, falling further and further behind in supply right now. ByuN is really keeping the tempo up against her very effectively.
And it's weird too, right? Because it's like 2,000 resources lost differential. Scarlett, she's got a mind. I mean, her economy is not quite where we would like it to be, but it hasn't been that bad this game. It really is. Scarlett was saving a lot of money to try to get this army up, and as that's not happening, we're seeing a pretty significant supply differential here. Meanwhile, that finally ByuN has the move. He's going to try to find his way on top of the base. Banelings get targeted, but not enough. These Biles, they're not going to kill the medevacs, but they do force everything back, and now Scarlett, she's got 3-3. Ultras are done. She has chitinous plating done in about 20 seconds, so if she's going to find her timing, Steadfast, this is going to have to be it. The Ultras are done. Chitinous plating is done. 3-3 is done. If she beats an army, I mean, that's what she's going to have to do, but ByuN isn't giving her that army to beat. He's got an army on the left side, an army on the right side. There can be no one big fight.
Yeah, but the drop on the top right might just snipe this base. Scarlett does get back into position. She managed to actually connect with a couple of banelings. Main fight on the bottom left is... I mean, the fact that there's just no creep just makes this so difficult for the Zerg to engage into. But the upgrades are a big deal here. Scarlett, I mean, she hasn't been able to find the fight she's been looking for, but this actually might be it. She takes it a little bit on creep. Oh, that's a big mind drag on the tail end. Scarlett getting some really nice Bailey connections and friendly fire Widow Mines. And just like that, the supplies have suddenly flipped in favor of Scarlett. And that is a really nice find. Big corrosive bile on the tail end, taking down that last Widow Mine. Scarlett all of a sudden finds herself in a great position after being kind of on the back foot for about, well, really since the beginning of the game, I would say.
Yeah, Steadfast, what we saw right there more than anything was the upgrades. Okay, well, you know what? That's not great. But yeah, it was the upgrades. Could
have been a lot worse.
The Lings and the Bane, yeah, it could have been. The Lings and the Banes were just not dying. Widow Mines. Oh, God, here, Scarlett. You got to split against that one instead. Well, upgrades matter a lot against the bio, absolutely. But Widow Mines, their spells, Steadfast, they don't care about your upgrades.
No, they do not. It did friendly fire down a couple of the medevacs, so now ByuN only has 13 instead of 15. But the drop on the top side does find this base. The medevac died to a spore crawler, but it was totally all right here. We're going to see Lings and Banes moving forward, trying to get some mind drags here. A lot of these medevacs are so deep in the red. One Widow Mine could take down multiple medevacs if it does friendly fire in the right way. So ByuN's got to be extremely careful, but the addition of Liberators is going to be very useful against these Ultras. As it stands right now, fungal growth is really the only anti-air that Scarlett has, and there's only two infestors here. There's 5 queens as well, but I mean, no, what am I talking about? The Ravagers. You can corrosive bile.
Yeah, certainly. But now we're going to have the army moving forward. Fungals. Oh, okay, that's actually going to be a great fungal on the medevacs, but you got to chain them up together, and that's not going to happen. Bailey's connection on the left side, and you just punch right through the Liberators. Biles will kill them, and now Scarlett, okay, lost the army on the right side here, so now that's the problem, right? This army, it needs creep. It needs to be able to chase, needs to get those surrounds, and when you move off creep, it's a bit scary. And the second problem... Oh. That's not what you want. The second problem, by the way, ByuN did ByuN things, and ByuN, if there's a Terran that does not like planetaries, well, it's the player we're looking at. He has 4 orbitals on position, so his first 4 bases are orbitals. He's been mining more out of 4 bases than a Terran normally would, and because of all the pressure he's been putting on, and again, that's how he likes to play, Scarlett has not been able to get run bys. She has not gotten Lings into that base. She's not been able to punish the lack of defense that ByuN has, so the economy, it's better on 4 bases than we would kind of normally look at and say, oh yeah, 4 base Terran. We kind of know how that goes. So finally, run by on the other side with Ultras and with Lings, but this is a base that only has 4 mineral patches. It doesn't matter nearly, getting the armory is certainly nice, but it doesn't matter nearly as much as now Scarlett comes flooding down the ramp here, trying to take advantage of some distraction, but really only loses an Ultra in the exchange, and that's not worth at all for Scarlett.
No, it's unfortunate to lose that, but I do want to emphasize the loss of that armory actually does make the Widow Mines way less effective. It actually, once they fire, they are going to be visible. So that's actually kind of a big deal. Nice corrosive biles clean up that one Widow Mine. Scarlett is in a position where it feels like she's on the verge of maybe being able to get a big counterattack done, but at the same time, she hasn't been able to find it yet.
No, certainly. So Liberator, CJF once again, Widow Mines as well. They're going to get targeted down. One on the right side really doesn't get much of anything. But again, off creep with Ultras. There are no infestors here. There's nothing to slow this army down. Biles They're going to try to kill the Liberator, but there just aren't enough Ravagers anymore to one-shot. It's only 2 Ravagers, so you need more Scarlett. I know it's weird to build Roaches, but you do need that anti-air as well. Now the Liberators will finally go down. Scarlett on the chase here, trying to find that something, but she's just sitting. She's stuck in the concave from ByuN. Is so nice here, but the Ultras, they get on top of everything. So ByuN kiting away and kiting away and kiting away. Lings and Ultras getting on top, and finally, Scarlett is breaking on through just a little bit. The Biles, they're not gonna land. They get on top of a couple medevacs, but nothing really falls. Meanwhile, on the right side, Scarlett deals with the drop, does not lose the base. So Steadfast, you talked about finally breaking on through. It feels like Scarlett, at least for the moment, started to do that. The economy of ByuN, not where it needs to be, but these infestors running right through the liberation zones. It's not. You need the you're playing a game like this against ByuN. You need to slow them down. You need those infestors.
Yeah, and ByuN, despite everything, might be starting to really make it happen here. We do have the Ravagers able to clear out that one Liberator in the front, but this is looking very dangerous. One medevac does go down. Another one so low on HP, but it will survive. This medevac setup for ByuN, I talked about it. He was on 15 medevacs at one point. He's on 6 now. 4 of them have a combined HP of like 100 and, I don't know, 12? That's exactly what it is. Math on stream, do it.
Yeah, I mean, the combined HP of not is really the story there.
Low, yeah.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
No, doesn't quite get it, but Lings have a pretty solid surround here, finding forward, and there are no Widow Mines in this army anymore, so nothing to kill the Lings easily, so they're just going to continue to chase and chase and chase and chase. Widow Mines on the right side, but they're not going to find what they want, not just yet. Steadfast, imagine if Scarlett had 1 Viper.
It'd be a good Viper. Even a fungal growth on the medevacs at this point would kill 2 of them, I believe. No, it would kill 3 of them, actually.
Yeah, but for now...
but she actually just gets completely cleaned up right here. Oh, my goodness. And she's going to lose the infestors as well. Hang on. I'm dropping the right side. Oh. That man, these medevacs are held together by string and duct tape, and right now they are running out of string.
It's giving the duct tape a lot of credit right now. So Scarlett down 20 army supply. Widow Mines look to burrow up. They're on the Ultra. It's damaged, certainly so. Another Ultra goes down. Scarlett takes the fight against the reinforcements here. Doesn't want to fight the main army, not just yet. And I like the decision, right? You're bleeding out. You're losing Ultras like this. Your economy, it's only 60 drones. It's not all that much. Lings look for the surround, but the Ultras, they go down again. And Steadfast, you will gladly let the Lings survive if you kill the Ultras every time. It's so expensive in a game like this, but Scarlett, she's gonna get the orbital here. ByuN slow on the pickup. And you know, we talked about ByuN having maybe a couple more orbitals at this stage than a Terran normally would, but that's 1 less, and now he's only on 3.
And it's important to note as well, Scarlett's got this new base up on the top right side. ByuN just scanned it. Scarlett, if she can hold that base, that will be very beneficial for her here. ByuN targeting down all the changelings. Okay, there we go. I was going to say all the changelings but 1 on the bottom side. But he does get them. He's actually pulling the SCVs into this a little bit. ByuN is kind of in do or die mode a little bit. Scarlett, she hits a huge Widow Mine shot. Another one does not get dragged in the way she wanted it to. That was all the Lings of Scarlett getting cleaned up. She's got more coming in from the back. Infestors, they've never had pathogen glands. They keep coming out without energy ready to fire. She should have just given up this base, but she tried to hold it, and it has cost her dearly.
Steadfast, she had the Banelings 80-90% done when she took that fight. Like, of all the anti-timings, that one, that was one of the worst I've seen. Oh man, maybe she doesn't understand how good of a position her economy was. She could, yes, 8 mineral patches, that was a key component of her economy, but she has the north side base retaken. Like,
and a lot of creep up here.
Yeah, like she could have lost that base totally and been totally, well, maybe not totally fine, but really in not that bad of a situation, and just rotated north and just kind of defended that position. And now ByuN on the high ground here. He's got first movers advantage. Lings run forward, but here's the surround coming in from Scarlett. Can she find what she wants? Widow Mines are going to go so massive, but Ultras into Fungals, it doesn't matter. Here comes the, second Fungal finds their way in. Banelings get the connection. Can Scarlett punch right on through? Barely, just barely, but the Marauder's personal healing is so powerful, and there are no Fungals anymore. Not really. Scarlett down 20 army supply, but importantly, she does not keep this pace up. Not anymore. And just one too many mistakes has been the issue from Scarlett this game. She's going to keep the drones alive, at least some of them. But now, her mining is shattered here. Losing 1 base, fine. Losing 2, this stage of the game, your outlying mining bases, Oh, and she's going to lose a queen as well. Oh, man.
And now ByuN is going to be able to have this lifted command center from the main base. It is going to be landing momentarily. The creep is, well, it is dissipating in about 3 seconds. And he's going to be able to land that. Yeah, there it is right now. It does, of course, need to land that, but that's fine. Scarlett is... Oh, she was in a good position. If she had given up that base, I think that's going to end up being the difference maker here. In a game with so many chaotic, intense moments, it is unfortunate when it comes down to just one big decision like that, but I think that's going to be the case. Now, she does still have 2 infestors, an Ultra. She's got 2 fully charged Vipers, but the time of those Vipers being so valuable was before, when the medevac count was so much bigger. Oh, this could be big for ByuN. Nope, Scarlett saves him.
Yeah, I mean, my Zercopium does stay steadfast that Scarlett is mining like 1,000 minerals more than ByuN is, and more gas as well. I mean, that's less relevant here, but she has been able to kind of reestablish the base that she lost early on. I mean, she needs anti-air here, so that's... The Liberators are going to be obnoxious for a time, but even as ByuN does take this north side base, and even as he, I mean, technically should be heavily muling, he's got 178 energy on that command center. Like, he should be heavily muling this base to get some money, but I mean, as that's not happening, her economy, despite losing that north side base, despite losing the south side base, is really not in that bad of a position. And she's taking this base from ByuN. You give her 5 minutes, maybe, if and ByuN is going to want to sit for a moment, right? He's going to want to reestablish himself. You give her a little bit of time, and she's going to be able to make up a lot of that gap.
Absolutely. And Scarlett right now should be thinking, okay, bottom side is now my area of influence. That's what I need to focus on. She's got 6 Ultras in the production tab, by the way, and Burrow. And if she can get up to both of those situations, that would be amazing. By the way, there has never been Drilling Claws. There will not be Drilling Claws in this game. We don't have it at all. Right now, the Liberators are going to be a problem to deal with. There is a lot of fungal growth energy. Scarlett going to go for it here. She's going to pull the trigger. Ultras from the top. Lane Bane from the bottom. The Parasitic Bomb is good on the medevac. Fungal growth is huge. And Scarlett is going to crush the army of ByuN, and she will take a barn burner on game number 1.
Man, and that was steadfast. That was with 3 Ultras still in production. That was still with a, what is that, 18 supply of a Scarlett just sitting there in production. But, oh man, you're back and forth. Like, okay, Scarlett's got this. Obviously, she's got this. Okay, ByuN, obviously, like, no contest. And instead, now it is ByuN. And granted, you know, we do have to say it's offline, online, ByuN best player in the world. Offline, but we do have to point that, like, Scarlett she made a lot of mistakes, absolutely, but so too did ByuN. She did look a lot better than she did against Bunny in that first series, so maybe she's warming up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And she made the important decisions when she needed to. She made the good calls when she needed to. Really impressive stuff. And yeah, she's that's a really nice game after this series she had versus Bunny in the upper bracket. That is a really nice start to this series, especially considering how she turned it around.
Yeah, but we're going to move into, again, we saw Scarlett in game 1, right? Game 1 against Bunny, excuse me. Look solid. Like, look really good, find value. Mistakes, certainly, but was able to win the game in the macro game. And then, well, we just saw Bunny turn it on, and Scarlett looked rough, shall we say, in the next 2. So, do we see this happen again? Game 1 is, if there is a map that is maybe not as bad for Zerg, certainly. I would argue, you know, map 1, it kind of fits into that bracket, but Royal Blood, John's going to be a little happier about that one.
I mean...
Well, actually, I mean, it is Babylon.
I think Babylon is actually the best Terran map in the pool, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I'm first of all, I'm surprised that it Scarlett let it through. But I mean, it all comes down to stylistic situations, right? Like, she was able to... The reason she won is because of how Babylon is constructed at the very end.
Yeah.
Which is like bases kind of being sent all around. But like, there's a lot of really good tank spots on Babylon. And ByuN didn't utilize those at all. Like, he literally didn't make a single tank in that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it was, right? Mass Ravager does mean that it's hard to find that value there. Okay, but it seems like we're going to get into game 2 in just a second. I don't know. I tend to think Royal Blood is it's a pretty solid Terranap, but I think more importantly,
yeah, decent.
I had convinced myself that because that game went so long that we played on Gressvan, even though I just cast it, I'm like, Gressvan's a pretty, like, of all the maps, pretty solid for Zerg, even if it was Babylon. So, you know what? Thank you, thank you, Steadfast, for bringing me back to reality. But now let's move into game 2. Remember, this started with the 3 racks that kind of equalized. I think all things considered, gave ByuN a 5% advantage, something like that. Does he do it again? Does he? I'm sorry, this is ByuN. He's gonna put 2 barracks in his natural. He's gonna build somewhere between 3 and 6 Reapers, and then go from there. And Sasha, of all people, she's his teammate. I mean, she had the read on the 3 racks despite not scouting it. I think in part probably because they're on the same team and they talk to each other and they practice a little bit. They boot camped, I believe. Actually, I don't know if ByuN was at that boot camp, but anyway, point being, you're going to have that kind of team kill, that ability to make the read. So does Scarlett have the read in game 2 if ByuN does do something like that, kind of 2 racks on the wall type of scenario?
I haven't seen Scarlett's response to that yet. I have gotten to see this kind of develop, and I see why the Korean Terrans are doing it. They've been experiencing a lot of success with it versus a lot of the Korean Zergs, especially Dark, I think, has had a bit of trouble dealing with it. But Dark is a very different Zerg than Serral, than Raynor. Dark is a lot more of a player who loves to play by feel. And I think Scarlett, for example, is a lot more, for example, she's a lot more mechanically focused and, kind of by the book and figuring things out, the call and response. Whereas, Dark is very intuitive, and sometimes he sacrifices a little bit of the cleanliness of his play. So, maybe he gets something a couple seconds later, a little bit of that sharpness in order to have, a beautiful mural of the game and a really excellent version and understanding of that game. So I'm not surprised that the Korean Terrans are coming in with these 2 racks, but it is going to be really interesting to see if we do see that 2 racks Reaper the natural, how Scarlett responds. Yeah, because I have no idea how she would. Yeah, you're right. I don't think I've seen too. I mean, and part of it is even if Scarlett was in Korea recently, practicing and getting ready. We didn't see her in EPT Cups a lot. We didn't get to see a ton. Yeah, we saw some in some KSL runs, but for the most part, not a ton of Scarlett's online play, which she is one of those players that does play in online events a little bit less. It's hard to get a really good pulse on her play until she does go. And, we see her in a big event, or maybe WTL is going to tell you something. But for now, the one thing that we can tell her, the one thing that she can tell us is that game number 2 is ready. It's Royal Blood. Can she knock ByuN down to the knockout stage? Let's see what happens. And the bottom left in the red. He's down a game here. His life on the line, at least to have a really nice seeding. Doesn't want to go down to the second knockout round. It's ByuN. And his opponent spawning up at the top right for the Shopify Rebellion. She is Scarlett. Steadfast, I would like to propose a rule that Scarlett is always red. By the way, I'm not going to say I called it, but oh yeah, no, good call. It's going to be that 2 racks Reaper. Although, and it's going to be interesting to see. Sorry, go on. The unfortunate thing here, right? I swear, ByuN does this almost every single game, and I swear, every single time he spawns on the wrong side of the map. I for 80%, 80% of the time the add-ons are going to be exposed. It's geez, ByuN. Clearly it works. I mean, he wins a lot of games with it. I don't think it really matters, because ByuN is a good enough player that if you were to commit to a build that would try and punish the positioning of those add-ons, it would be very difficult to do. Now, I think so. What I have seen from this build and what I think is the greatest value of this build in recent history, because you stop at 3 Reapers with this, and it lets you 2-shot lings, 2-shot drones. It's pretty cool. You can get some good grenades, maybe find a queen. What I like the most about this is how it delays your 3rd hatchery so much. It's really uncomfortable for the Zerg player. You really can't take the 3rd hatch, and if you do, the Terran player can just sit on it and deny it. And I think that's the greatest value.
And it does seem like it is going to be the 3 Reaper play coming. And ByuN does have variants of this, by the way. I know you're saying, 3 Reaper, whatever. He does, well, actually, yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, I read that natural is the 3rd. He is doing the follow-up here. I think
yes, he's doing the 4 racks.
Yeah, I think you said, was it ByuN did it against Solar? Yeah, no, that's right. Earlier today, because that's the only
Maru did it versus Rainer earlier today.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, thank you. So ByuN is the one that does this a lot. Maru does it occasionally, and you're right, because the 3rd base is delayed, because there's all this pressure on, because the creep can be delayed pretty hard. It can A, be hard for the Zerg to scout, and B, because you don't have that position on the map, it can be very hard to hold, because again, you know, you're probably not gonna have banelings. Your creep is gonna be delayed a little bit, and then you don't have that surround. You force the Terran to fight into you, and I mean, eventually, if you're running out of positions to micro into, that's never a comfortable position.
No, it's not a comfy position at all. So what ByuN has been doing with this build before, and I was talking about the delayed 3rd base, but it hasn't really come to fruition this game, is I thought he was just going to park the Reapers on the 3rd and just force a cancel, because you will out DPS that, and you can do that. And like I was saying, that's what I really like about this build from ByuN, and what makes it feel so powerful, especially with this 4 racks Reaper, or not 4 racks Reaper, 4 racks Marine Stim combat shield setup. But that's not what we're seeing at all.
No.
And I don't know, I'm just not as big of a fan of this. If you get nothing done with the Reapers, because ByuN didn't even kill a single unit, and then also don't cancel the 3rd hatchery, like I really, yeah, like don't get me wrong, this follow-up can still absolutely get a lot of work done, but I think where it finds its power is by delaying that 3rd hatchery by a significant amount, because then the Zerg's economy can't get rolling.
And now the question really is, okay, Ling's on it. Yeah. Oop, nope, never mind. They can retreat back to the safety of the Marines, but is the Stim Scout enough to tell Scarlett what's happening? I would think so, right? Because this is a very early Stim, but Scarlett is droning very heavily here.
She's droned way too hard, and it's an SCV pull.
This is the build that Maru used against Raynor, apparently, and Scarlett's not ready. Not at all. She's building 12 lings. No. There's no baneling nest here. This is let's see if she can hold it. What does she have? She's got 8 queens. She's got 12 lings. 20 more are on the way. And, you know, it's going to take a little while, but here we go into the natural immediately. Grenade. Scarlett with a concave steadfast. Can she hold?
I don't really see how. She's got so few lings. The drones are going to be pulled. They're not even going to attack before all the lings are dead. The queens are transfusing like crazy, but they will not be enough on their own. ByuN is going to run Scarlett over with this big 4 racks SCV pull, and it turns out didn't even matter about the 3rd base. Scarlett over-droned way too much. She's super under-respected this build. I think she may have just literally called the bluff on ByuN and said, I don't think you're gonna do this. And now she's dead.
Yeah, she's lost an entire mineral line worth of workers and is still up 10. That's a good testament to how much she is overdroned.
Yeah,
and it also is maybe a reason that she could come back. And I mean, she's not going to, but there's
she can't clear the army. No. There's no chance.
What I'm saying, though, I guess is a better way to say that is maybe that's the reason she was staying in the game just a little bit longer. He's like, you know, I still have got an economy. Maybe my Bailey nest completes, but ByuN finds his way in the main and ends that very, very quickly. But you talk about kind of calling the bluff of ByuN here. I wonder whether that is, again, one of those team kill things where it's like, you know, ByuN does this build a lot. You saw the stim timing, you saw it researching, you saw it complete, I think she did. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, ByuN has been... ByuN knows that I know that he knows that I know that he's doing this, so he's not going to do it. And then, well, sorry, Scarlett, ByuN actually did it. And now we go to game 3.
Yeah. You always know it's going to be stim. But the question is whether it's going to be, you know, a quick 3rd command center into maybe this additional bio push, or if it's going to be a 2-1-1, or if it's going to be 3cc into 2-1-1, which is a good option, a great option. And if it is that, specifically that 3cc into 2-1-1, Scarlett's got herself a really nicely kicked off economy. But yeah, she gambled, and she gambled wrong, and because she knows the build, she's familiar with this 4-Rax SCV pull. She's seen ByuN, she knows her teammate, but I think she's going to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more cognizant of that. And you know what? That's the kind of gamble that it is okay to make when you're up 0-1 in the series, because if it isn't what it is, then, you know, we're talking about how she's in a great position economically. She got away with a bunch of greed, and it's a really nice play, but it just didn't work out that way.
We should, of course, point out that this is the second game where she has read 2-Rex, where there was not a 2-Rex, and then not been ready for the follow-up for the heightened aggression. But let's see what happens in game 3. It's Gresfon. It's a massive map. Does ByuN put those 2-Racks in the wall again? Let's find out. And in the bottom right in the blue, looked great in game 1, but game 2, the wrong read. Let's see if she's a little bit more literate this time. It's Scarlett.
And her opponent spawning up at the top left for the Shopify Rebellion as well. He's going for it again. It is ByuN. You know what I'd love to see, though? I'd love to see him plop down a 3rd Rax and just try and kill her with Mass Reaper. Go back to 2016, 2017 ByuN. Just do it. Do it.
Dude, literally, it's funny. Do you remember the interview that ByuN did at Katowice with Artosis, right? Like, oh, ByuN, you only do a 2-1-1. And ByuN's like, no, I don't.
He's like, I do so many builds. I just have really good micro, so I can pull that one off.
Which is, it's funny now, because I'm not going to say ByuN only does the 2-Racks in the wall thing, but
he does it a lot.
This is, if Artosis was doing that interview now and was talking about this build, ByuN would have no foot to stand on, because he does this like 90% of games.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. He does it a lot of the time now, and especially against the, well, I mean, he mostly only plays the Korean Zergs, and like these are really the only tournaments where you're going to run into the top non-Korean Zergs, you know, the Serals, the Rainers, the Lambos, the Scarlets. Like this is the lasers. This is one of the only times you're going to have that situation.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes one of them is going to show up on like an EPT and A, but now that actually EPT Korea and EPT North America are on the same day, we're seeing not, certainly I think ByuN is still playing those, but we're seeing kind of less of some of the Koreans.
Yeah.
It's a long day if you make that happen, or a late night and an early morning. So for now, this Reaper gets a little bit of damage done. Got a Ling, there we go, and almost gets the drone, but second Reaper now arrives, and hey, we already have 2 cancels here. This is already pretty substantive damage for the early game.
Yeah, this is already more damage than it was in the previous game. He got a Ling. He, like you said, got 2 of those morphs, the Extractor and the Spore Crawler. Oh, Scarlett does... Okay, no, she's not going to be able to get on top of that. Actually, ByuN getting 2 more Lings right there. This is already way more successful. And speaking to the difference between the games, it is going to be... Well, it's going to be basically exactly the build I was talking about here. 3rd CC, Factory, and yeah, ByuN is chilling now. Scarlett will lose a drone there as well. ByuN is having a much better start in this game number 3.
ByuN is absolutely just, I hesitate to say dumpstering, but this is just...
He's doing very well with his first 3 Reapers. Oh, and he's going to find a creep tumor too.
So Scarlett had lost significant mining time, right? Had to pull the drones away for, I think, like 5 seconds, pulled them back. 2 cancels, lost a drone, lost a creep tumor, lost a couple Lings. Actually, we can just pull up the units lost tab, and that'll show you everything you want to see. But Steadfast, going back to openers, or going off to follow-ons off of this 2-Rax opener, if you were to like blindfold me and just say, hey, you know, it's a 2-Rax opener, what's the follow-up going to be on Gresfon versus Royal Blood? This is exactly as we expect, you know, 3cc play on Gresfon, the 4-Rax follow-up on Royal Blood. So Scarlett should have some idea about, like, I don't know, like, in the blind, should maybe have at least some sort of inkling about how you expect this to go, but with no confirmation, it's still a scary position to be in.
Absolutely, and she doesn't really have an overlord that can give her confirmation. Speaking about Dark versus Scarlett as players, Dark, while he's been going up against this, he's been consistently sending an Overlord into a position to scout that third or fourth barracks very early on. Or in this position, in this case, to scout the quick third command center. But we're not going to see that. Now, what we will see is actually a very funky follow-up from ByuN, and a very cool one. It is going to be Thim Medivacs with an armory.
Widow mines, right? Like, we're seeing
No, it's just the Hellbat morph.
Oh, wait, okay.
Just the Hellbat
okay,
morph.
he does have Hellions. Okay, I was looking at the tech lab going down.
Actually, hang on. Yeah, it might be a fast drilling clause behind this.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, right? I mean, we saw Scarlett did take some heavy damage from Widow Mines. I mean, there was that one fight outside of her, what was that, the 5th base last game that almost lost her the game. But this time, Roachborn on the way, Carapace on the way. Certainly, it's only single Evo for the time being because Scarlett, actually, it's going to be single Evo for quite a while. Scarlett very afraid of the follow-up, and
She's built 34 lings.
Yeah.
She has shown the respect to the build. ByuN has won the mind game war in the biggest way imaginable.
I mean, that being said, you against this timing right now, you do want lings, but she built. I think she built them a little too early is the problem. More so than.
Yeah, no, she built them to deal with the 4 racks for sure.
Yeah.
100%. They're going to be handy here, but the roaches are going to be much more valuable. However, she does not have free supply right now.
Yeah.
She's supply blocked on 12 larvae, and this may end up being a very deadly supply block for her. ByuN not going to commit, I don't think, too hard. Oh, but he is going in, does grab 1 queen. Hellbats are being picked away. Once they go down, the lings will gain value. But Scarlett still lost the 4th base. She still lost a 1 queen and a good number of lings, so this is still a value trade, I would say, for ByuN.
Yeah. Now, okay, the one I don't know saving grace for Scarlett right now is that her Carapace. Okay, this queen's dead. ByuN, kill the queen. There we go. So that queen will fall. Scarlett a little bit too greedy on the creep tumor on the creep spread, but again, she's gonna have that very quick Carapace timing here, and I mean, I was gonna say maybe there's a timing that she can push for, but she's droning up behind this again, so that advantage just maybe keeps her a little bit safer. But without a 4th base steadfast, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's enough.
It feels like a really tough position for Scarlett to deal with. She is not in a great spot. She does not feel comfortable in the slightest. Her creep has really been hampered around this original pocket 4th base location, which means even your natural starts getting threatened at that point. We're used to seeing this position that I'm highlighting right here being a problem for Zergs to deal with. But when the creep is this far back, that position isn't even a factor, really. But it will mean that once Scarlett tries to set up and take her 5th or 6th base, if we get there, she is going to have so little creep in that area.
And it's crazy, Steadfast, when we talked about this, I mean, maybe it's a little outdated now, but if there's one thing Scarlett's known for, it is her creep spread. So to see really every game in the series where it's mattered, Scarlett's creep spread is just not where it needs to be. I mean, that is impressive for ByuN in and of itself, as he does get a cancel on the 4th, prospective 5th base at this point once again. Scarlett, she does have double Evo now.
Block.
It's easy to get
Overlords.
Oh man, it's easy to get supply blocked when you're going a ton of roaches, but still really not acceptable here. Not when you are kind of as far behind as Scarlett is. Adding in two more hatcheries in the main. She's trying to get her production up to maybe make up for building eight Overlords at a time, and everything's going wrong for Scarlett at this point.
Yeah,
she's going to try to respond to this one, but that's a lot of bio, and yeah, she will keep the base alive, but she's going to lose 2 queens, so less creep spread again, less transfuse, less injects again. The production's not going to be there, and on top, third time.
Brilliant stuff from ByuN.
It really is. And on top of that, I mean, if you're playing, you don't want to play the linear map against ByuN. You want to have your bases a little bit closer together, right? It's easier to defend the drops. And now ByuN also, you pointed out the scan. He's going to know exactly what the timing is here. ByuN has perfect information.
Yeah, he scouted the actual start of the hive. That is so amazing for ByuN right there. Scarlett, she does have her +2 Carapace on the way, but she never started +1 melee or +2 missile. There it is now, +1 melee. This is looking really rough for her. Scarlett, she's going to lose these creep tumors as well. And I mean, ByuN is just firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, game 1 looked pretty solid for Scarlett. Some mistakes, but looked pretty solid for Scarlett. But this game 3 is just an absolute stomp. And we're seeing some of the power of ByuN's opener. I know you said you weren't sure what we were going to see out of Scarlett, but we've seen how flexible it is and how it allows him to find pressure to get damage done, to force his opponents into positions that they really are not comfortable in. So now, I mean, Scarlett has been playing from behind this entire game. She doesn't lose the base, the fourth base. You know, finally that stays alive, but she's going to lose the fourth base she actually took, and 20 drones off the top as well. So Scarlett, yeah, you know, she's within 7 workers, but she's down in workers against the Terran. She's down 30 army supply against a Roach player. ByuN's 2-2 is just like, ByuN's gonna have a 2 upgrade lead. Well, a 1 upgrade really lead really with all these tanks. Scarlett, she's got to find something, but she doesn't have the tech at all, as now ByuN Stims on top here. And it doesn't really seem like there's anything Scarlett can do short of Miracle Biles. Multiple Miracle Biles here to bring Scarlett back into it.
Yeah, it's feeling like an inevitability at this point. Scarlett has just been on top of, ByuN has been on top of Scarlett this whole time, and he will take her down in this game number